I have Spider-Man here on PC running at 100 frames per second, 100 Hertz, rock solid performance, and I want to compare with that level of performance what is the best motion clarity you can get with Motion Pro. And I'm gonna compare the colors, the peak brightness, the HDR effect, the shadow detail. So basically, what's the best option? So let me start by saying that at 100 frames, you already have a smooth experience. So we're comparing here a Ferrari with a Lamborghini basically. So this is amazing no matter what. But at 100 frames sample and hold, it still looks blurry. And Motion Pro on auto is a great option actually, and it does improve the motion clarity. So when you move the camera, it does improve that motion clarity significantly. So I'm gonna show you all the settings first. Let me start by my long recommended settings for Motion Pro on high. We step on select mode 111.3.111. We change this EOTF to HLG. We're gonna turn on dynamic tone mapping. So we turn on dynamic tone mapping, and I have the colors: color gamut native, saturation 50, warm 50, and I'm gonna be comparing that with this option, which is basically Motion Pro on auto. So we are now back to SDR, and we're going to be comparing Motion Pro on auto. Okay, Motion Pro on auto at 100 frames on SDR. And the settings for SDR, I'm gonna use BT1886 for a more contrasty look. I'm also gonna change back to a Gamma 2.2 so you can see the overall brightness differences that you can get. So we have contrast 86, max out the OLED brightness, and also peak brightness on high. And I have the colors on auto detect 55, 150. Okay, so when I go back and forth, those are the two options that I'm comparing. So I'm just basically going to go here to this secret menu and go back and forth and tell you the difference. Okay, so this scene is very nice because we have a lot of HDR flare. Okay, let me remove this. We have a lot of HDR flare here. Look at all that electricity popping. It is awesome. So when I change from this SDR option, when I change to HLG, wow, it's a staggering difference on the peak brightness of those highlights. It is a lot more impactful, a lot more HDR-like. But the SDR option gives you a higher peak brightness on large areas. So like, for example, you look at the clouds, you look at the large area that is supposed to be bright, the SDR option is gonna give you a brighter result. How much brighter? Up to 150 nits brighter. Okay, and I'm gonna show you that on the main screen at the end. So basically on the main screen, I'm not gonna even show you that because you know that main screen where you see Batman here and you see that sun over here. On that main screen, this SDR option, in comparison with the HLG, the SDR option has 150 nits more peak brightness on the sun that is over here on the main screen. So that's a big difference, and it is noticeable. But on the other hand, you get more visibility on the darkness with the HLG option. Okay, but still SDR is perfectly visible on the darkness, and if you want more visibility, you can change this Gamma 1886 to Gamma 2.2. The reason why I prefer the 1886 is because it gives me a better color saturation and it is more correct. So what we are looking for with this option on SDR is to get more accurate colors, and the standard for SDR is BT1886. Okay, that's the standard. So contrast on 85. Of course, for accuracy, you don't want to max out this OLED pixel brightness, and you don't want to use peak brightness on high, but we have no option with black frame insertion, we're trying to get as much brightness as we can. Okay, so we already established so far in terms of motion clarity how big is the difference if I do this, because this is the whole point. This is why we are doing the comparison, because we want the best motion clarity we can get at 100 or 120 frames. In terms of motion clarity, if I do this and I change to the HLG option, can I tell the difference right now if I do this in this shot? No, I cannot. I need to look closer. Okay, I need to read the text. I need to find the text that I can do this and then read the text, and then I will realize that yes, this HLG option is better. So for most people, most people are not going to tell the difference. Okay, it is better with Motion Pro on high. It is better, and that's the way I play. And I much rather have, you know, that option even if the colors are inaccurate, because I'm also getting more HDR flare. But this SDR option I'm giving you for Motion Pro, it is more accurate in terms of the color. So let me show you that. Let me show you the main screen. So let me go back. By the way, let me show you the settings I'm using on the game while I'm doing that. So I have all the graphics maxed out, but ambient occlusion, SSAO, because the HBO Plus is broken, no ray tracing, and I have off depth of field, chromatic aberration, vignette, and motion blur, of course. That's the last thing that we want. And I have 4K DLSS dynamic resolution scaling at 100 frames, and I'm using Riva Turner Statistics Server to lock that frame to 100 frames. And it's very important for Motion Pro to work well to get a perfectly locked frame rate. So this dynamic resolution scaling here is gold to achieve that level of performance. And of course, you need to have a high-end gaming PC and CPU especially to get that level of performance. So let's do this. Let's abandon the mission and let's go and see some skin tones. Let's take a look at the main screen. So I want to show you the main screen. Yeah, I want to show you the main screen just real quick. What I was talking about is this. The peak brightness here is considerably higher. So let me see if you can notice the difference on the video, because it's like 150 nits difference. Okay, so the SDR option is 150 nits brighter in that part of the screen. I don't know if you can notice that on the video, but in front of me is a big difference. Okay, big difference. Also the HLG option in terms of the colors looks a little bit washed out and overly saturated at the same time, if that's even possible. Okay, because the gamma, when you with the higher gamma, basically the image looks sharper, more contrasty, the colors are more correct. It is better in terms of the colors. It is better. Okay, these colors, they look a little bit washed out because that dynamic tone mapping on it is pushing that gamma too much to get that brightness. Is too much, so it looks washed out and overly saturated at the same time, if that's even possible. That's my description. This looks sharper. Okay, these colors, it looks sharper, cleaner, more correct. So the SDR option looks sharper, cleaner, more correct, and it gives you a higher peak brightness. But that Motion Pro on auto is not as good as high, so I would use high. But let me show you some skin tones, and let me show you the basketball court, which is the biggest difference I can see, basically. So let's go again to the mission so I can show you some skin tones and the basketball court, and we're gonna end the video there because I'm gonna be able to show you the differences there. Okay, let's go. Let's enter here. So we're gonna see some skin tones. So on the skin tones, there's no difference that I can see. It's almost the same. So we have the SDR presentation, which is supposed to be more accurate. Let's take a look at her face and see if you can see any differences there. Boom, same. There's no difference on the skin tone. It's almost the same. Almost the same. You can pause the video and see if you can notice a big difference. Is about the same. Actually, HLG's looks a little bit better in my opinion. but you know, SDR is probably more accurate. So let's pass this talk here. Well, I have to hear that. So we are on SDR right now, okay? We are on SDR, so I just want you to show you that basketball court, which is the deal breaker here for HLG. It looks incorrect. It looks too orange, the basketball court. Okay, let's see if I can complete the recording because the phone is running out of battery. So I just want to show you this last thing to end the video. Look at that basketball court. That color is looking correct to me. It's looking very nice. It's looking like a basketball court. So now if I change to HLG, this is going to be too orange. And I don't like it actually. It's not a deal breaker for me. But that HLG, I don't know if you can see that on the video. Maybe it's not big enough for you to see the difference. Yeah, it might not be big enough on the video for you to see that difference. Yeah, but I prefer the SDR presentation. But for me, it's not a deal breaker. It is not a deal breaker. I am willing to do whatever it takes to get the best motion resolution. And Motion Pro on high gives you the better motion resolution, but if you prefer color accuracy and you prefer maybe higher peak brightness, if you have something that's mostly white on the screen like a snow during the sunny day, and if that's your preference, then this is a very good option for sure. Of course 100 frame is good no matter what. We're comparing here a Ferrari with a Lamborghini basically. But yeah, this is my choice, but you try it and let me know what you prefer, especially if you have your TV calibrator on SDR and you want to get that motion resolution. You have a high-end gaming PC, you can get 100 frames. This is awesome. So let me know what you think and which one you prefer.